Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Small Business Big Results, a show where we share stories from small business owners and fast-growing startups. I'm your host, Brian Dean, and today I have Barry Rosenstein with me. Barry works for Focus Brands as the social media manager for Auntie Anne's and Jamba. Her winning approach to social media has garnered the attention of millions, and she continues to shake up her engagement strategies. I'm really looking forward to Barry's insight on today's topic, which is how small businesses can approach social media and really find success on the platforms out there. Research has shown that close to 75% of purchasing decisions are influenced by social media, so this is definitely a marketing channel that small business owners don't want to sleep on. So welcome to the show, Barry.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here because, as you know, as part of this series, we're covering a wide range of issues that are important to small business. And one thing we really haven't touched on that much is social media, believe it or not. And considering this is a marketing-focused, small business-focused show, we wanted to have you on to discuss how small business owners can take advantage of social media because it's huge. So my first question, I'll just jump right in, is regarding generations and social media platforms. It's kind of people when they think of Facebook, they think of their parents and their grandparents on Facebook. When they think of TikTok, they think of teenagers and younger people. How true is it that these demographics are sort of divided between platforms?
I think there's some truth to that, and I think that each platform serves a very important purpose in the social ecosystem. And yes, are people in the older generation on Facebook? Yes, but they're not scared to engage with your content. Facebook's not dead, and I will scream that as loud as I possibly can. So, and same with TikTok. I mean, if you look at the demographics on TikTok, it's just getting older and older and older by the day. It's not meant for dancing anymore. That myth has been debunked, and I think they all have different ways to communicate your story. And I think that's the beauty of social, is that there are millions of users on every single platform every single day, and there are people out there that are interested in what your small business is talking about, and you need to use all of the different platforms to share your story, to reach people that you might not have ever thought would be on social. So for example, Instagram is a great place to make your product look perfect. It's that aesthetically pleasing platform where you use beautiful images to really help sell your story. Then on top of that, you have the Instagram stories. So 24-hour messages that you can pop up on there. So, for Auntie Anne's, we do a lot of our loyalty offers. So this weekend, it's buy one, get one free, which really only live on Instagram stories. And then for TikTok, that's where you get imperfect. People are going viral posting videos in their bathrooms, It's meant to be imperfect. And then for Twitter, obviously there's quick thoughts, quick moments, no images. It's just, off the top of the dome, usually planned. But that's kind of where you can be quick-witted. And then, like I said, Facebook isn't dead. People go on there to comment. People go on there to share things. And people go on there to message and use their messenger. So I think when you look at all of the different platforms, they all have so many functions that you can use to really help tell your story. And I think it's a loss if you don't really, study each platform and use them for what they're, meant to do. Yeah,
really good insights there, Barry. I want to pull out a couple things. First of all, I got to check out the Instagram stories for Auntie Anne's. Get on that buy one, get one free action for those pretzels when I'm on a cheat day. But also, there's sort of, I liked how you look at these social media networks. It's easy to divide it and say, okay, like on Reddit, it's like nerds, in their basement. And then Twitter are like political people who are like angry all the time. It's not necessarily demographics. It's like you said, each platform has a purpose. And if you just look at the platform itself, it's designed for that purpose. Like Instagram has really nice looking images for a reason. So it helps you so you can put it on there. And because everyone does it, that's the place for high quality images. But if you did this sort of produced stuff on TikTok, it wouldn't work because that's all about authenticity and a little bit of improvisation. And Twitter, if you plan something out, it's something like about the spontaneity of just 140 characters just banging something out. Moving on to my next question then. So you study these platforms, you get an idea of who's on there, your target audience is on this one or that one, or maybe they're on all of them, and you think, okay, here's how we can sort of tackle this. If a small business isn't really involved in social media yet, and they're busy, they have customers and products to ship and things like that, how can they get around to actually making social media a priority?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take much to begin your journey on social. I think, and we could potentially get into this in our conversation, but it's really about understanding your audience. So if your audience is a little bit on the older side, you want to focus on Facebook and TikTok. If you are going to Gen Z, you want to, put your time on Instagram and TikTok. I think, but overall, start tweeting. It's free to tweet. And I think start tweeting, start getting your story out there. I think that's the easiest way to begin. You just need words. You really don't need anything else. And then once you do that, you can use those tweets as status updates on Facebook. Literally copy and paste. When I saw some of our tweets pop off on Annie Ann's, I was like, I want to put this on Facebook. It literally opened an entire, world of Facebook engagement for us. So I think, copy and paste, work smarter, not harder. And then that's 2 platforms down, right? And then for Instagram and TikTok, you have some buffer time to really get your content buckets, together. But the beauty of social right now is that imperfect is perfect. So you really don't have an excuse. If you look at Annie Ann's TikTok, all of those videos come from my phone. Literally nothing else. I just updated my phone, but my other phone had a cracked screen. So if I can do it on a cracked screen, so can you. So I think you just have to start, and you just have to be consistent. And another beautiful thing about social is it's test and learn. Not everything's going to hit. Not everything's going to go viral. I mean, I think the biggest thing for, small business owners is you have to be consistent, just like you are in other parts of the business. Social is all about consistency and showing up to your fans and followers, and that's how you create a community.
Yeah, really, that's so true. That I love that piece of advice. So you already have a couple actionable things. You mentioned previously, put some exclusive stuff in your Instagram stories that's expiring, because that's the whole shtick of the Instagram story. Like Snapchat, it's expiring, so that's where you can put those things that people. I bet, I don't know the numbers on this, maybe you do, but like the engagement on Instagram stories must be much higher than people's actual posts because of that expiration element.
Yeah, because if you think about, how you interact with Instagram stories, it's tap, 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 tap. It's super quick. So you need to have a hook. You need to have a reason for people like, ooh, I want to click this link to get off of Instagram to your website. So that's where the creative piece comes into it. But if you look at Dunkin', Annie Ann's, Jamba, we all use Instagram stories to announce new flavors, to announce new LTOs, to announce, partnerships and loyalty offers. And I think that's the perfect way. And we try to do it consistently so people know that when they see Annie Ann's is posting something on Instagram story, they're going to click it and get a free pretzel or, get extra points in their app and things like that.
Yeah, once you've kind of taught people this is where you go for the good stuff, they're going to be more likely to revisit that well. Another great piece of advice you had was, start with the easiest platform. If you're intimidated by YouTube because you have to create a video, don't create a video. Create a tweet. Anyone can create a tweet. Anyone can create a text-based piece of content. And I'll throw out a social network that I'm having a lot of success with in B2B, which is LinkedIn.
I was just about to say,
a zero barrier to entry like Twitter. And a great copy and paste element. Right now, they recently introduced LinkedIn carousels. And I'm noticing a lot of people are taking their Twitter threads, turning them to carousels, and getting a ton of engagement. So similar to what you're doing, Barry, with taking your content from one platform, putting it to the other on Facebook, and it's just killing it because it's a whole different audience, whole different everything. It's the same thing with sometimes if you repost the same exact thing on social media later on, or a slight variation, it can do well. So it's all about that consistency, because part of it is, like you said, building up that rapport with your audience. But part of it is just taking swings with the bat, because there's so much randomness that happens on social media.
Exactly.
If you showed you 20 posts and you said which ones are going to do the best on social media, it's hard to say ahead of time. So you got to put the 20 out there and sort of see what happens.
Exactly.
So what about?
You never know.
Oh, go ahead.
You never know. I was just going to say, you never know. And I was going to add, LinkedIn's another great place. Status updates, using hashtags that are really meant for your niche audience. I mean, everyone's going to LinkedIn right now. So I think if you are, contemplating what to do for social, go on LinkedIn. It's really becoming a place to create status updates and not just be business focused. So definitely would recommend that too.
Yeah, it's become more personal. It's like business casual, I would say, right?
Yeah.
It's like you have you're not going to really post like what you had for breakfast probably, but If you have a
Right.
personal angle to your career or something you're doing or a win or a struggle, like that stuff really resonates more than the boring business updates. It's not as boring. It's really actually kind of a great platform and underrated, especially in B2B. So
I agree.
what about budgets? Do you think that small business owners should even set a budget, or should you just do what you said before? Start with the free stuff, the tweets and creating TikTok videos and whatnot, and then start to invest in production value and things like that?
I mean, it really depends on what your small business is. I've worked on brands that have no social budget, and I've worked on brands with a nice, healthy social budget. But the beauty of organic social is that it's all free, and that's what makes organic social organic social. And I think, getting scrappy, using user-generated content or creating your own user-generated content. Honestly, asking your followers to make content for you, asking people to submit pictures enjoying your product or service, or asking people to give you reviews and recording it right on your phone. Those are also easy ways to create content without you creating content. When I think back at my journey on TikTok with Annie Ann's, I had no idea what to post. So I just reposted videos. I reposted people's videos on TikTok that were talking about Annie Ann's until I got the confidence to make my own videos. Like, I never made an online video before March 2021 when I had to. So asking your followers to do that, people love being reposted. People love talking to brands online. So asking your followers to do that, maybe it's for in return, you're sending them your product for free, doing reviews, send those DMs, ask people, if you want someone to represent your brand, send them a DM and say, hey, we would love to, send you our product for a video, for free product. But I think, it all depends on your business and if it's a product or a service. And I think, there really is no excuse to not post. I think there's so many ways to get content these days. And I also think too, there are a lot of TikTok accounts out there that tell you what the trending songs are and telling you how to use them. So follow those accounts and get inspired. But I think that, using your followers to advantage really helps. And it has helped our TikTok strategy as we were beginning, because I was a team of one. I had no idea what to do. I had no idea what type of videos to create, and I started by just reposting things.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's social media, right? It's not anti-social media. It's meant to be a two-way sort of thing where you're interacting with followers, DMing people, sharing other people's content. It's social media, but it can be like tempting as a brand to be like, this is a broadcast channel. This is where we're just going to broadcast. But like you said, if you interact with your followers, you're going to get content sort of created for you. And then that stuff you can use. And it's not only super easy, it's some of the best content you can have, because you can post about how great your new pretzel is. But if someone else is eating it and like hashtag made my day, that's way more powerful and authentic. And you don't have to do anything. You just have to create a great pretzel and keep an eye out for what people are posting.
Right.
How about, speaking of paid, what's your advice for someone who's doing some social, having a little traction, and they want to dip their toes into the paid world? What are some pieces of advice you would give them?
When you really feel like you need more eyes on your content, that's when I would recommend paid. But I am not a paid expert by any means. I do not touch our paid. So I don't have any advice because I can't speak knowledgeably about paid. But, paid is a great place if you, are really trying to track, measurable results. So gaining followers, which I really probably wouldn't recommend, but, engagement, views, all of those things. But I can say, I get nervous when our media team comes to social because we already do so well organically. I don't want, TikTok or Twitter or Facebook to know that we have budget, because then they're only going to want us to promote paid content where we really just want to grow our community through organic. So we do paid, but it's not part of my team. I just help with the content. So can't give any great advice.
Well, they work. I mean, I think it is helpful advice, because if you look, there's kind of two different ways to do paid social. There's like the hardcore Facebook ads, ROAS, analytics, and just going completely cold in front of cold traffic and getting them to try to convert, which is a huge huge amount of Facebook's business. But there's the other element, which is just giving a boost to your organic stuff that's already sort of seeing traction. And it's not a cure for your organic stuff not getting any traction. If your organic stuff not getting any traction, it's because it's not good, and you're throwing money at it, it's probably not going to solve the problem. But if you're already getting a little bit and you just want more, it can be a way to fuel the fire. Because that's when I say paid social, it's also, there's this whole world of paid social that's just like, they don't even have organic. They don't have Facebook page. They have a Facebook page just to run ads on, stuff like that. So it's a little bit different. When a small business owner is getting into social media, I'm sure you get this question a lot about ROI and goals. How would you say this was good, this worked, or didn't work? What types of goals should these small business owners be looking at?
So I think it really depends on the reasons why you're on social. So if it's for community building, obviously keeping track of how many followers you have, which, is an important metric. But, if you already have an audience and social is there to help with relevance and consideration, which is really, why Annie Ann's, a lot of reasons as to why Annie Ann's is on social. Track how engaged your audience is. So we track impressions, engagements, engagement rates, brand sentiment, and how people are talking about our brand online. We measure that month over month to really see, did something, bad happen? And are people talking negatively about Annie Ann's? Or did something good happen? And are people talking positively about Annie Ann's? I think understanding the temperature check, or understanding the temperature of how people are talking about your brands online is really, really important, because it could, help, or it could be totally detrimental to your brand. So I think, creating goals for yourself, for me, we took last year's numbers and increased the amount of growth from last year to this year, but we made it obtainable. I wasn't going to say, we have, I'm just making this up, 80,000 followers on Twitter, and then this year we were going to gain another 80,000 followers. Like, that's not going to work. But I think for us, continuing, it's not going to look like this. It's going to look like this. It's a slow grinder. It's a slow growth. And I think, even on TikTok last year, we went from 0 followers to 80,000 followers, and that's like this. This year, it's definitely more of a slower grind. And I think that's okay if we're just continuing to go up. So I think, it's really about your content. It's about the engagement and how engaged your followers are that will help all of your other metrics increase.
That's true though. I mean, if in the beginning, like anything, it's a lot easier to go when you go from 10 followers to 20 followers, you doubled your followers.
Right.
Going from 80,000 to 160,000 is a whole different universe to double from there. And also just platforms, like you were on TikTok when it was earlier. In a year, it's changed a lot. Exactly. So it's a lot more saturated now. It's still doable, but it's easier to go from 0 to 80 then than it is now. Still probably very early in the game, relatively speaking, but just a little bit harder. So if you look at different types of social media content, you have like educational, inspirational, you have your promotions that we talked about. Is there a ratio that small business owners should sort of keep in mind?
I would say no. I think, like I said, the best part about social is test and learn. So if you're starting out on social, do it all. Literally do it all. If one day is motivational, one day is educational, one day is entertaining, and then see what your followers like. I think you learn so much by reading your comments, and you really are at the hands of your followers, right? You want to create content that entertains them. You want content that they will stop and watch or look at or engage with. So I think social is not a one type fits all platform. You have to do what's right for your brand and your audience. So you really leave it up to your fans and followers to tell you what they want to see. So again, I think you do it all. And I think, the beauty of social is we all don't have to recreate the wheel. Like, I look at our competitors and I try and put the pretzel twist on it. I look at Dunkin', I look at Jimmy John's, I look at all of the other, Chipotle, they all do such a great job. And I, get inspiration from all these different brands and put our pretzel twist on it, because we don't have time to recreate the wheel. So I think when you're thinking about content, start broad, and that'll help you, narrow down what your content buckets could be.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that actually answers my next question already. which is when you're running out of creative ideas, where do you go for inspiration? And that's a great one, because you can look at other businesses in your niche that aren't necessarily direct competitors. Now, it's easy, but if you're McDonald's, it's easy to look at Burger King or Wendy's, but they all have totally different social media brands online, and that's deliberate. They don't want to copy each other. They want to be distinct in the marketplace. Yeah. And it's the same with Auntie Anne's. Like, you want to look at Jimmy John's and other these like fast casual sort of restaurants, see what they're doing. It's the same type of people that go to Jimmy John's and Dunkin' that go to Auntie Anne's and Jamba. Exactly. But these aren't direct competitors. So you can still be unique in your little empire of pretzels, right? And it's the same thing. It makes total sense. It's really good advice for where to go. Yeah. So what other things should people do for inspiration?
I think, Pinterest. We go to Pinterest a lot. We make a lot
Pinterest.
of boards.
That's one we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah, we go on Pinterest to get ideas for photo shoots and get ideas for ways that we can showcase our pretzels that we haven't done yet. But I think like the biggest piece of advice is, if you want to be on social for your business, you personally need to be on social. You don't have to post. You could be a ghost follower, but you need to see what type of content makes you stop. Because if you're making content that you won't stop to watch, why would your followers stop to watch? So I think really being, part of the culture that you're trying to join in is really, really important. And when people ask me, how do I stay up to date on trends? What do I read? What websites do I go to? I don't. I go on Twitter every day. I'm on Twitter 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I follow industry experts. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on TikTok. I just downloaded Be Real to see how that app works. And I think that's how you stay inspired, and you curate your feed with brands that you are, that you love. You curate your Twitter feed with other marketing professionals. And I think that's how you get inspired, and that's how you get, if you're in a rut, start looking at, what Oreo tweeted, or what, Annie Ann's tweeted. We're all kind of in the same boat together, trying to make really great, entertaining content. So, look at competitors, and they don't have to be direct competitors, but look at what some of the biggest brands on social are doing and put your twist on it.
Yeah, that's good advice. I mean, and the trend thing is interesting, because I run a trend software company, and we have a lot of social media marketing people that are interested. How they use it is very different than how other customers use it. They really use it for inspiration. Like, a lot of our customers use it for like investing, things like that. But with social media, knowing that there's a trend happening that maybe isn't solely saturated on, and then adding your twist, like you said, to it, that's really the key. Like, it's one thing to know about a trend, it's another thing, what are you going to say about the trend? How are you going to incorporate it? Are you going to criticize the trend? Are you going to follow the trend? Are you going to take a contrarian view? Are you going to tie it into your business? Are you going to tie it into your product? Are you going to tie it into promotion? Like, that one trend can be like a flower that can be 100 different posts. Yeah. And it depends on your brand, what makes sense for you. So yeah, really good advice there for getting inspired, because I think that's a roadblock a lot of people have. Getting started can be really tough. And then once you get started and you sort of feel like you've kind of emptied out your main things that came to mind, you're like, what's next? The feed is the best place to go. I agree with 100%. Like, you should almost have a feed for your personal stuff and then your professional stuff, or a list you can do on Twitter, and just go into marketing mode. Look at all the other brands that you admire that they're doing well on social. And a lot of times you'll come up with something that's not necessarily a copy, but just something interesting. All right, Barry, so now it's time for our rapid fire questions. How this works, I'm going to ask you 10 rapid fire questions. Just say the first thing that comes to your mind. If you don't want to answer one, you can just say pass, and we'll skip to the next one. So the first question is, what's your favorite book?
So I'm a big Colleen Hoover fan. I love stories.
Okay.
I'm just going to give you all of her books. I can't pick one.
I'll have to check those out.
I don't know if you're the right person.
Oh, there's no ninjas or spaceships? Time travel?
No.
Okay, so now I'm kind of out then. No, those are more my genre. What are you most curious about right now? Nerding out on anything?
So the social landscape and what it could potentially look like next year with all of this craziness on Twitter. I have my ear to the ground to understand what is next for social. Okay,
interesting. What's your favorite online tool that you consider indispensable for your job?
Sprout Social. I love Sprout Social, and I love using them to run all of our accounts. They are really the OG, and I love them.
All right, nice. When it comes to snacks, do you prefer salty or sweet? Don't say both. That's not allowed.
First sweet, then salty. How about
Okay.
that?
Okay. And how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I try to get 7. 8 on a good day. 6, I'm just like groggy all day. So 7.
Yep. And what is your go-to lazy dinner?
Breakfast. I could eat breakfast every meal, but if I'm lazy, it's eggs and toast, maybe a chicken sausage if I have it in my fridge, but breakfast all day.
That's probably the best answer we've had so far. Cats or dogs?
Can I say both for this one?
You can say that one is acceptable to say both.
Okay, I grew up with both, and I don't currently have any pets because I live in an apartment on the 5th floor, but once we buy a house, we're getting a cat and a dog.
Nice, very nice. What's something you wish you knew when you were 20?
Do not sweat the small stuff because in the larger grand scheme of life, it does not matter, and to trust the process.
Okay, so and what time of day do you get your best work done?
Oh, I am an early riser. Early bird truly gets the worm. I wish all day was the morning because 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the evening, brain dead, tired, totally lost interest. So morning is the best, Barry.
Yep, cool. And what occupation other than your own, obviously, would you like to try?
I would love to own a bagel shop and call
Bagel
it Barry's
shop.
Bagels. And I would make all the yummy bagels. Bagel and lox is my favorite. But I would love to do something like that.
I bet your social media for Barry's Bagels would crush. I'm gonna go reserve all those handles right now while I can.
I think
for Barry's Bagels before they get scooped up.
It just rings. It just like flows off the tongue. Barry's Bagels.
It's good. And can't be bagels unless in New York. So anyway, Barry, thanks so much for coming on. Lots of golden nuggets that people can use for creating their strategy for social media and then actually doing it in the real world, which one of the reasons we want to have you on is that you're not talking about theory. This is stuff you're doing all day long. So it's really interesting to hear your perspective of someone that lives, eats, sleeps, and breathes social media all day long and does it at a super high level. So thanks so much for coming on, Barry.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And I hope I motivate some people to just send it and to get the videos out of their drafts and really make some magic on social.
So that's all for this episode of Small Business Big Results. Head over to this video right here for the next episode in the series, where I'll be chatting with Mike King about a common dilemma for small businesses, which is whether to outsource the digital marketing efforts or go the DIY approach. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.